A nice, easy, festive evening Christmas tree with snow.
Okay, so I thought I'd do a really super simple Christmas tree in the snow. So what I've done is some triangles. I've overlapped these triangles. So you've got 3 overlapping, getting slightly bigger each time, and then a chunk, and then you're going into some snow. So I'm going to start by wetting the Christmas tree. So I'm going to use my round number 6, and I'm going to wet really carefully over the whole of the Christmas tree, and we're going to fill that in with different colours. So this is going to be semi-abstract, nice and easy, so it's getting you used to wet and wet washes. So you've got a nice sheen on that paper, no puddles, just a nice sheen. And then I have got here some rose, so you could use whatever colours you wanted. And you're going to drop these colours in, and you can focus on that tip of your brush, making sure you're getting that nice edge. If you start with the base, if we say the base is going to be rose, then we're going to drop a few other colours in. So you're getting used to having a go. Just shows you how simple Christmas cards can be. Simple and effective is often the best way. So this colour's running nicely. Where it's wet, the colour will stay. It won't go any further. So I've got a nice shape there. Then if I take in some purple and just dab that through. So I'm just going to let it, little dabs, just let it do its thing. Neaten up an edge. So I've got 2 nice colours in there. I'm going to take a third in. So this is ocean blue, which is like a phthalo blue green. You can make it with phthalo blue and a little bit of brown. I'm just going to drop some of that in. Or you could use something like a turquoise, that would be quite nice. Or just phthalo blue. You're going to get a nice combination of colours. Then I'm going to take a cotton bud and I'm going to wet it, dab it off on some kitchen towel so it's not too wet. I'm just going to dot in. So this is going to give us lighter bits. Can you see those happening? So let me just move this out of the way. So you'll need to clean your cotton bud, then dab it off so it's not too wet. You don't want to go in too wet because it'll watermark. I'm just going to lift those out again. It's because it's very wet, it's running back in. So it's just waiting and biding your time. You'll get these lovely soft effects. You can use more than one cotton bud. You can do this when it's dry as well. We might do a few more later. So you can see I'm just twisting it on there, lifting off. So I'm getting a nice effect. So I'll dry that one off. Okay, so that's nicely dry. So now I'm going to come onto the trunk. So I'm taking a little bit of water on with my round number 6. I'm not going to come on to this bit because that's going to be snow. And then I'm picking up a little bit of sepia or any dark brown that you've got. And I want you to run that through so it gets a nice even coat. And then I've got something, so you want something darker. I've got a darker blue here, indigo. I'm going to run that down one side. So that means our light's coming from that side, our dark's coming that side. I'll dry that one off. Okay, so that's nicely dry. I've picked up around number 10 and I'm going to wet around the Christmas tree. You can get as close as you can, just with a little bit of water. Doesn't matter if you don't get exactly close because you can come up with the paint. So you can see here, normally you can see the sheen look, that's what you're looking for. Then I'm going to dip into my indigo and bring this around. You can choose whatever colour blue you want. This is great for creating snow though. Indigo. I'm going to use a little bit of salt to create a snowy effect in the background. I'm going to come all the way around, leave that snow hill at the bottom. So dip my brush back into the water. Just keep doing that, then dip it back into the paint. You see how I'm twizzling around so I can see where the tip of my brush is going. Makes it easy. I can use the point to get into those areas. You can swap down to a smaller brush as well at this point. Come in, create that lovely hill of snow. You can dab in with a little bit more paint as well, so don't be afraid to dab back in if you want to vary the tone in any way. If you take a little bit more towards the top, it'll make it a bit darker. Nice circular motion. Okay, then I'm going to take a little bit of table salt into my hand and sprinkle that on. That's going to give us a nice salty background. Salty equals snow. You see that? And that's going to draw the paint out. Okay, that's nicely dry. You're going to rub the salt off. We've got another cotton bud, which we're going to dip into some water. And I want you to just come on with that water. We don't need to dab it off this time because we're going on to dry. And just circle it so that it lifts some of that paint out. And you're getting like bigger snow flakes. Try to be as random as you can. Don't want to create a pattern. Sometimes if you just leave the water on there, it will just lift off. Then I want you to come just over your tree a couple of times. So you cut in your tree and the background at the same time, going over. I'm just going to get a bit of kitchen towel and just dab those off. So you can see they were quite damp, but it has worked. You're getting those lovely big snowflakes. Stick one right at the top. What's quite nice is when they overlap both, just chopping into that edge, and it makes it look more magical, getting that glow of light from both. I'll do one down here as well. So all the time you're thinking, I don't want a pattern. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up my round number 6, and we just need a little bit of shadow on this snow. So I'm going to take a little bit of watery indigo. So that's a bit of water and a bit of indigo together. And then I'm going to follow the dark side. So the dark side is this way. So that's just going to give me the shadow on the snow there. So I'm going to dry that off, and we're going to pop some little decorations on. Okay, so that's nicely dry. So I've picked up that same cotton bud we used to lift out, and I'm now going to come back into the paint. So we're going to just create some baubles. If you twizzle around, you'll create some lovely baubles. Again, try to be random. Try not to come over the lifting out of the light as well, so just try to avoid those. So we've got a few of that colour on, then I'm going to do a few of the purple, so I'm going to stick with the same colours. We've got a really nice effect. And then if I take a bit of I've got a silver gel pen here, so if I pop in some little bits of silver, as if we've got some tinsel or beading coming through. I'm just avoiding the baubles. I'm just coming through with this stripe, just so we've got a little bit of sparkle on here. So it can be really, really simple, but very effective. In fact, we might put a little bit of a star at the top. To do a star, you do a triangle one way and a triangle the other way. You'll get a nice star appearing. So there we go, another beautiful Christmas card design, nice and simple. I'm going to show you how to float mount these, and I'm going to pop a video here. It just means that you can use the cheaper, affordable cards